The world is not fair, and the sooner you accept this brutal truth, the sooner you can stop being its victim. Right now, someone less intelligent than you is commanding more respect, and someone weaker than you is wielding more influence. Why? Because you've been programmed to play by rules that they broke long ago. You've been conditioned to be nice while others are being strategic, and you wait for respect while others simply take it. The game is rigged against those who believe good intentions matter more than psychological dominance. 5 centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli decoded the true mechanics of power and influence. He watched kingdoms rise and fall, and he discovered why good people finish last and why ruthless strategists rule the world. He realized that while you are playing checkers with good intentions, manipulators are playing chess with calculated moves. True ruthlessness doesn't mean being cruel, it means being psychologically sophisticated. Today, I am going to share 7 dark psychological principles that will transform you from someone who gets overlooked to someone who becomes dangerously confident, untouchable, and impossible to ignore. But I am warning you, once you see the matrix of human psychology, you can never unsee it, and you will never be able to play the victim again. Before we begin, I want you to drop this declaration in the comments to lock in your shift from a victim mindset to a predator mindset. I refuse to be psychologically dominated. Let's get into it. Number 1, never show your true face. The moment you show people what you are really thinking, you lose. Most people walk around with their hearts wide open, showing every reaction on their face because they think it makes them genuine and authentic. What it actually makes them is vulnerable. Think about poker. The worst player at the table is the one whose face tells you exactly how excited or disappointed they are. When you show anger, people know exactly how to push your buttons. When you show fear, they know where to apply pressure. You become predictable, and predictable people get used. Machiavelli understood this perfectly, observing, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." The mask isn't about being fake. It's about understanding that your emotions are live information. When something bad happens, your face must stay neutral, while inside, you are calculating your next move. This doesn't make you cold. It makes you controlled. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I reveal nothing. Number 2. Fairness is a psychological trap. Fairness is a lie sold to keep you weak and compliant. Every time you wait for fair treatment, someone else is taking what you want. You have been conditioned to believe that being fair makes you noble, but in reality, it makes you prey. How many times have you given respect to someone who showed you none, or waited for your turn while others cut the line? Machiavelli observed, men should either be treated generously or destroyed because they take revenge for slight injuries. For heavy ones, they cannot. This is about psychological warfare. Most people make the mistake of half measures. They give weak pushback to aggressive people, creating enemies who see them as a soft target. Stop trying to reason with people who operate on pure self-interest. You must create situations where treating you well is in their self-interest, and treating you poorly costs them something they value. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Strength over fairness. Number 3, see people as they are, not as you wish. This is going to hurt, but you need to hear it. Most people are not who you think they are, and the reason you don't see them clearly is that you project your own values onto them. You are loyal, so you assume they are loyal. You are honest, so you believe what they tell you. That is exactly how you get blindsided. Machiavelli had zero illusions about human nature. He saw that people are self-interested, inconsistent, and driven primarily by what benefits them in the moment. He wrote, "Men are so simple and so much creatures of circumstance that he who deceives will always find someone ready to be deceived." Stop looking at what people say and start looking at what they do. Anyone can say they have your back, but what do they do when supporting you costs them something? Remove your emotional attachment to who you want people to be, and start treating them exactly based on the patterns they show you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I see truth clearly. Number 4. Psychological dominance trumps likability. This truth will shatter your people-pleasing programming. Being respected is infinitely more valuable than being liked. When people merely like you, They take risks with your feelings because they assume you are safe and will always forgive them. Likable people are predictable and easy to take advantage of. Psychologically dominant people are treated with caution because everyone knows they can and will defend their interests. Machiavelli was direct about this. It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one has to lack one of the two. This doesn't mean being a tyrant. It means being someone others know they cannot disrespect without facing real consequences. Instead of asking, "Will they like me if I do this?" you must start asking, "Will this action increase or decrease my social power?" Let others compete for your approval instead of constantly competing for theirs. Drop this affirmation in the comments: respect over approval. Number 5. Narrative control is psychological warfare. Controlling what happens is only half the battle. The ultimate power move is controlling how what happens gets interpreted and remembered. The same action can be seen as leadership or arrogance, strength or aggression. The person who controls the narrative controls the meaning. Most people focus entirely on their actions and ignore the story being told about those actions, which is a massive mistake. Machiavelli observed, "Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality." People don't have time to investigate every situation thoroughly. They rely on the simplified story they hear. You must become skilled at framing your actions in ways that serve your interests. When you make a difficult decision, frame it as long-term thinking. When someone attacks you, reframe it as evidence of their jealousy. Anticipate how your actions will be interpreted and shape the story before others shape it for you. Drop this affirmation in the comments: I control the narrative. Number 6. Power respects power. Never negotiate from weakness. Nobody wants to admit this, but respect doesn't come from being nice. It comes from having capability, options, and the ability to walk away. When you need something more than the other person needs you, they smell desperation and use it against you. When you are desperate for approval, people withhold it. You must build a foundation of absolute independence. Stop needing validation to feel complete. Build options so that no single path or person controls you, and build boundaries. Stop being available 24/7 for people who aren't there for you. When you set a boundary and enforce it, you are saying, "I value myself enough to not accept less than I deserve." The people who get used and discarded are the ones so afraid of losing others that they accept anything. Stop negotiating from weakness and walk through life like you have options. Drop this affirmation in the comments: I operate from strength. Number 7. Focus on results, not approval. This is Machiavelli's most famous and most misunderstood principle. The end justifies the means. People think this means being cruel, but what it actually means is that you must stop obsessing over what people think about your methods and start focusing on whether those methods work. You are going to be judged no matter what you do. If you succeed, people will criticize how you did it. If you fail, they will criticize that too. Success doesn't reward the timid or those who need everyone to approve of their methods. The people who create real change do it by seeing what needs to be done and doing it even when it is unpopular and uncomfortable. Stop letting fear of criticism paralyze you, and stop seeking permission from people who don't understand your vision. Because here is the ultimate truth. When you succeed, people rewrite history, justify your methods, and call you brilliant. But if you fail while playing nice, nobody remembers you. Drop this final affirmation in the comments: results define me. If you've made it this far, you now possess the tools to survive and succeed in a ruthless world. Society tells you to play nice, to seek approval, and to follow the rules. And that is fine if you want to be average, comfortable, and blend in. But you want real power and real results, and that requires thinking completely differently than everyone else. The world doesn't reward the nicest person. It rewards the strongest, the smartest, and the most strategic. Stop being a slave to your emotions, stop waiting for permission, and start taking what's yours. If this message added value to your life, hit that like button to show you are ready to stop being naive. Share this with someone who needs to understand that niceness without psychological strength is just weakness. Subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we are going deeper every single week into the architecture of power. I'll see you in the next one. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am the strategist.